Hello, welcome to our presentation for the course CHEN 489 Humanitarian Engineering, where we are presenting our case study on tackling the problem of nylon yarn shortage in Bangladesh. My name is Abdullah Muhammad Yusuf, and I shall be presenting alongside my colleagues Ghaib Glaid and Nurhan Isa. Our chosen Sustainable Development Goal is SDG 9, which is Industries, Innovation, and Infrastructure. Let us discuss why this SDG is important in achieving overall sustainability. SDG 9 is important in achieving overall sustainability because it focuses on the foundation needed in a country to grow economically. Manufacturing industries help in the industrialization of countries. Furthermore, they employ a large proportion of a country's population. Worldwide, manufacturing businesses comprise over 90% of businesses and employ between 50 to 60% of the employed workforce. The UN states that for every manufacturing job created, there are 2.2 other jobs created in other sectors. These statistics are especially important for least developed countries such as Bangladesh. It is a country with an established textile manufacturing industry. So further growth and improvement in this sector can hold the potential to propel Bangladesh's industrialization and job creation in other industries. That could also mean significant progress for eradicating poverty, reducing hunger, better well-being, and enabling access to quality education for many more people than before. Another focus of this SDG is innovation in the said industries. Through innovation, current manufacturing processes, which may have become outdated, can be promoted to become more sustainable. That is, manufacturing processes can be made more efficient in terms of not just the machinery and energy, but also the human resources that are employed. This contributes towards overall sustainability by bringing down waste production, energy use, and parallelly increasing human capacity. So in summary, it can be said that technological innovation and growth of the manufacturing sector leads to industrialization of a country. That contributes to the development of the country and its people through job creation, better standards of living, increased human capacity, and sustainability of resources. The targets that we have decided to focus on are the following. The first is 9.4, which is by 2030, we want to upgrade infrastructure and retrofit industries to make them sustainable with increased resource use efficiency and greater adoption of clean and environmentally sound technologies and industrial processes, with all countries taking action in accordance with respective capabilities, which would be Bangladesh in our case. And 9.5, which is to enhance scientific research, upgrade the technological capabilities of industrial sectors in all countries, and in particular developing countries, including by 2030, encouraging innovation and substantially increasing the number of research and development workers per 1 million people, and public and private research and development spending. And the following target is also linked to another target under Goal 8, which is decent work and economic growth, and that is target 8.2, which is to achieve higher levels of economic productivity through diversification, technological upgrading, and innovation, including through a focus on high value added and labor intensive sectors. And although our chosen targets don't directly link with another target from Goal 12, which is responsible consumption and production, it links to the essence of that goal, which is to do more with less.
Okay, so when considering the implementation of a new technology in Bangladesh, it is important to first identify the challenges associated. For instance, nearly all the raw materials for the spinning industry are imported from other countries. In other words, there is lack of internal source of raw materials. Smooth supply is prone to geopolitics, global commodity index, and natural calamity. Moreover, lacking an outside duty-free inventory in the country is an issue since multinational commodity traders will not be able to store their merchandise. Also, Bangladesh is currently experiencing yarn dumping pressure from neighboring countries such as India and Pakistan. And in the last few years, Bangladesh's spinning sector competitors, India and Pakistan, devalued their currency to facilitate export, which is an advantage for the exporters. Bangladesh's spinning factories manufacture clothing items in compliance with the designs supplied from the purchaser's end. Thus, it continues to focus on low-value products in the absence of research and development within the spinning sector. Also, in Bangladesh, the spinning sector has outdated machinery. Due to obsolete technology, the cost of production in Bangladesh is higher compared to India and Pakistan. In this case, spinning technologies should be upgraded to deliver optimum results and uplift working performance and productivity level. Also, by implementation of minimum wages in the garments sector, the cost of human resources has increased, although the minimum wages in the spinning sector is lower. Also, people are not interested in spinning jobs because they are tougher than those of the garment sector due to the working environment and job nature. In this case, spinners are paying more money than minimum wage to retain human resources. Also, there is high labor to and coming to the linkages of the challenges to SDG 9. If outdated machinery is modernized in the spinning sector in Bangladesh, this can lead to increased sustainability and resource use efficiency and greater adoption of clean and environmentally sound technologies and spinning technologies. In other words, technological progress is the foundation of efforts to achieve environmental objectives such as increased resource and energy efficiency. Also, in Bangladesh, research is primarily conducted by government research institutions and public universities. Since private investors rely on important technology, particularly in the export-oriented manufacturing sector, there is lack of motivation to have a dedicated research and development unit.
All right, so to try to frame the problem, so so Bangladesh has a strong textile and clothing contributor in the least developing country, still using old yarn spinning machinery and technology, and therefore there is a great opportunity in investing in new yarn spinning technologies, and especially in machines that produce nylon yarn, because it is of high demand. So this is the problem statement that we have came up with. So how can spinning factories in Bangladesh add or transition to nylon yarn manufacturing? So thinking about competing solutions. So from our literature review, we have seen China's progress towards intelligent yarn spinning technologies, and their method was to enforce was to invest in a large number of new milling machines, and enforce the private sector to use these machines, and then put restrictions on other manufacturers to use innovative machines as well. So this is very fast, very high rewards, but it would incur very severe social problems, because there would be, uh, uh, enforcement of laws. The second competing solution is to create a government center that has three functions basically: to nurture a cluster of globally competitive companies, uh, and to have an upgrade grants for low-end manufacturers to partner up with separately owned TNC manufacturers to create islands of best practice for nylon yarn production. What that means is basically to so with that, this is a solution that was done in South Africa, um, due to the decline in the textile and clothing industry after the apartheid, and the government intervention in creating such a center really helped them do that. And this idea was inspired from their development, their success story, basically.
So the third competing solution or alternative in this case would be to enable relationships and collaborations between spinning mills in Bangladesh and their foreign suppliers and clients to enable nylon production. So this was also derived from literature review, where it looked at the industry in Pakistan, and they identified that this phenomenon was very important for spinning or textile factories to be able to innovate. The next alternative that we identified was to create clusters of similar sized spinning mills that can collaborate resources to begin producing nylon yarn. This is very similar to the second one. However, it's different in the sense that it is combining similar sized spinning mills informally, in a sense, and without government funding. So this was also something that was derived from the literature review, where this study looked at developing countries, especially Ethiopia, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Nigeria, where such a system facilitated innovation as well. And the last alternative that we came up with was to enable import of diversified raw materials into Bangladesh so that spinning mills may utilize them in innovating new yarn types such as nylon. So this is also derived from literature review, where the paper looked at 5 developing countries, and their findings included that when um, product innovation increased as a result of more imported intermediate inputs into the manufacturing process. So that, combined with openness to trade, allowed firms to carry out innovation. We decided to look to specify some non-compensatory aspects that our solution should have, and they are as follows. The first one is that the solution should be suited to work in least developed countries. Secondly, the solution should not lead to a decrease in the number of workers employed currently in the industry. The estimate that we have for that in Bangladesh is 3.5 million workers as of 2018 in the ready-made garment sector. The third one is that the solution must be designed such that it is compatible with the trends of capacity utilization of machinery in least developed countries. So we looked at a study, and the data shows that after a period of about 10 years, machinery in Bangladesh faces a rapid decline in utilization. The next aspect is that the solution must have a direct effect on the target of our chosen SDG 9, as we outlined at the start, targets 9.4, 9.5, which deal with upgrading technology and enhancing research. The next non-compensatory aspect is that the solution must not drive existing spinning mills out of business. Rather, it should seek to revitalize those that are lying dormant or those that are losing profitability. And then the next one is that the solution must involve chemical engineering or process engineering. And then the last aspect is that the solution must be able to produce the desired end result, which is of nylon yarn production in spinning mills.
All right, so now we're moving on to the ranking criteria. So as you can see, this is the qualitative comparison of the 5 alternatives based on 5 ranking criteria. These criteria are the time it takes for the solution to take place, whether this solution has happened before in least developed countries or not, the cost of the solution, the environmental impact, and the social impact. So as you can see here, alternative 2 was selected due to its higher overall performance. And as we mentioned before, alternative 2 is basically the creation of a a center that would nurture globally competitive manufacturers and help create spread knowledge about to improve processes. So to describe the solution, um, so the solution we came up with was a combination of what we have, what we got inspired from the literature, and what we thought what would work and what would be practical. So so this is a government-owned center for innovation. Its mission is to assist the industry to modernize its processes, products, and people, and to nurture a cluster of globally competitive nylon spinning companies. So at this part, this is very similar to the solution that was presented in South Africa. What is different is that at an early stage, since the government in Bangladesh is going to be very, it would not be very generous in terms of resources. Uh, the aim would be to help establish better communication and cooperation between the various mills in Bangladesh. And then at a later stage, a grant will be open for low-end manufacturers to create islands of best practices so that these better mills can keep growing.
So to discuss the impact of this solution on our SDG, which is industries and infrastructure and innovation. So we think that through the proposed center, it is quite easy to see the potential progress that can be made towards the targets of SDG 9. Target 9.4 wishes to upgrade infrastructure and retrofit industries such that they become more sustainable and have greater resource efficiency. We see this happening as knowledge and best practices are exchanged by successful large spinning mills with the smaller ones. Furthermore, with the added revenue brought in from the diversified nylon products sold, spinning mills will be able to eventually upgrade to more efficient machinery. Target 9.5, that wishes to enhance scientific research, can also be tackled through the center, where part of the funds can be allocated towards research and development of ways to more efficiently utilize raw materials and machines.
So, what are the impact of this? What is the impact of this solution on other SDGs? For instance, when considering SDG 1, this proposed solution, if implemented, can lead to poverty reduction in Bangladesh, since with enhanced research and development by creating a government center, it can lead to an increase in employment in the spinning sector with higher wages. And also considering SDG 2, and it is highly dependent on SDG 1. And since the proposed solution can benefit the workforce in the spinning sector, therefore hunger can be reduced in Bangladesh if SDG 1 is implemented. And also considering SDG 3, the proposed solution, if implemented, will lead to an improvement in the standard of living of the workers in the spinning sector. Thank you, and that concludes our presentation. And here our references are showing.